Good news, everybody! New ways to buy ChatGPT ads directly from OpenAI. So OpenAI debuted ChatGPT ads a few months ago. Apparently, they have $100 million annual recurring revenue from doing that. And so now they're expanding the ChatGPT ads so that it is going to be a self-service portal. So just like you go in, is it AdWords? AdWords? Been a while since I've used it. You go into Google and you use AdWords and you put in your campaign and you can pay for CPM or CPC to put your ads in front of people, whether it's on websites, whether it's in search or whether it's in video or whatever else now. That is what OpenAI is going to be offering to advertisers. Which, yeah. We were told AI was going to cure disease. We were told AI was going to solve science. And what do we get? What do we get? We get crappy little ads. Everything in the modern world of technology always comes back to CPC. I guess it's just how it works. On the whole with this, one of the reasons that I'm frustrated with it is just that this should be such a low value proposition as to it being almost worthless for these AI companies. You take a look at it when you actually run a business, and there's a certain point in time when even what might seem like a large amount of money basically becomes irrelevant to you. Where there might be a contract for, let's say, $1,000. Right? But you say no to $1,000 because frankly, it's just not worth the time and effort, right? You got so much money coming in from other places. $1,000 is too little for you to even take a look at, right? If these AI companies are actually, again, solving science and curing disease, you would think going after CPC revenue would just be below them. Because think about this, with any technology business, you've got to build the product. You've got to support the product. There's a whole bunch of stuff, again, logistics, workflow, and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And so if you have limited resources, why would you go after a relatively low value proposition? But here's the thing. What if in reality it's not a low value proposition and it's about the best proposition you've got? Right? One of the big issues with OpenAI is apparently they're valued at $855 billion right now. They're trying to get valued at $1 trillion. IPO at $1 trillion. But they're just not bringing in the revenue where that makes half an ounce of sense. So they've got to start trying to figure out how they can bring in the revenue. It's interesting right now, the CFO, right? The CFO was talking about the potential of OpenAI, ChatGPT making money, and was talking about it being a spinning Rubik's cubes of possibilities. Literally what she said, right? Apparently. And what's interesting now, though, is that they're trying to push back the IPO. It seems like Sam Altman wants to IPO this year, and the bankers want to IPO this year. It looks like the CFO is trying to push back when they IPO to 2027, which basically means she probably knows what the SEC filing is going to look like and realizes when most investors see that SEC filing, they're not going to be amused. So the curious thing that they have to do right now in 2026 is basically come up with enough revenue streams, come up with enough story to prove that they have this $1 trillion valuation that just doesn't make an ounce of sense. And so basically now they're dumping this whole advertising model into their system in order to try to bring revenue in, which, it'll have the results it has, I suppose. If we take a look at this, again, this is straight from OpenAI. We're taking the next step in our ChatGPT ads pilot by making it easier for businesses to participate while keeping the experience useful, private, and clearly separate from ChatGPT's answers. Advertisers can now create ChatGPT ads through partners or a new beta self-serve ads manager. Hey, remember when Russia decided to dump, $30 million into Facebook ads? Remember how that went? Can you imagine when our quote unquote adversaries or political opponents decide to start using AI ads as a way to get through to the American public? Yeah, that's gonna go well. We're also introducing cost per click bidding and expanded measurement tools, giving businesses more flexible ways to buy, manage, and understand campaign performance without sharing conversations or personal details with advertisers. These updates make it easier for more businesses to participate and lay the groundwork for a broader ads platform built around how people use ChatGPT. We initially worked directly with a small group of advertisers to launch campaigns in ChatGPT. As we've expanded the pilot, we've broadened access through partners and are now introducing the self-service tools. Advertisers can access ChatGPT ads through tools and processes they already use to grow their business. These partners help support campaign budgeting, bidding, and advertising creative, while OpenAI's ad system controls all delivery decisions. Today, we're beginning to roll out the beta self-serve ads manager that allows advertisers in the US to sign up and purchase ads directly to appear in ChatGPT. The ads manager makes it easier for companies of all sizes, from SMBs and startups to global brands, to grow their businesses via ChatGPT. Businesses can register as advertisers, add payment information, set budgets, bids and pacing, upload ads, launch and manage campaigns, and view performance in the portal. In the first phase of the pilot, advertisers could buy ChatGPT ads on a CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions basis, as a preliminary means to understand demand, delivery, and early performance in a new environment. Now we're adding cost per click bidding so advertisers can align their spend more directly with the actions people take after seeing an ad. That matters because many ChatGPT conversations are active and decision-oriented. People are often learning about a category, comparing options, or deciding what to do next. In those moments, a click can be a meaningful signal that an ad has relevance and help someone move forward. Advertisers are only charged based on the click outcome. One of the most requested capabilities during the ads pilot has been more robust measurement to help advertisers understand performance. We recently launched Conversions API and pixel-based measurements so advertisers can better understand what happens after someone engages with an ad, such as a purchase, lead, sign up, or other meaningful actions. So the disaster of cost per click is coming to AI. What could possibly go wrong? We know the answers. We know the answers to this. Like, what I find fascinating, like the complete and utter idiocy of this horse crap, right? Is we already know the disaster of AI for a lot of people for psychological reasons. Again, I would never go to AI for therapy. I would never go to AI to be my girlfriend. There are a lot of things that I wouldn't go to AI for. I wouldn't do it, but a lot of people do. So one of the things to be thinking about right now is if people are using AI for medical decisions, if people are using AI for therapy, if people are using AI for those types of things, and now you have self-service cost per click advertising that is basically going to be triggered based off of the type of conversation somebody is having. So somebody is sitting there, and again, they get diagnosed for cancer, and they're trying to figure out what to do for cancer, and all of a sudden you have an ad that shows up that says, olive oil that has been blessed on Mount Sinai has been shown to decrease cancer deaths by 50%. Again, is that stupid? But again, my wife has had 3 cancers. Chemo and radiation therapy and all that stuff is kind of scary. So if you're sitting there in a ChatGPT conversation and you're looking at the not side effects, the consequences of chemo, the consequences of radiation, the consequences of all this stuff. And then underneath, there's a little ad that says, have you thought about an olive oil enema? You might be like, well, I wouldn't normally do an olive oil enema, but have you seen what chemo is gonna do to me? Let me try some olive oil. All right? Does that sound like a good idea? The other thing too is interesting is that whole question of, can humans really delineate the difference between like the AI conversation, the ads? I think about this. I talked about this before. I got my degree in criminal justice. And it was fascinating back in the day when television was our big concern, right? There was this big thing, there was a study that was done that showed the human brain doesn't really process differently what happens on a television screen than what happens in real life. If you want to know why Americans are more paranoid now in actually a safer society, it's the reason because cop dramas have gone through the roof as crime rates have gone down. So basically, every night, you may not have been the victim of a crime. You may not know anybody that's been murdered or raped or anything else. But if every night you come home and you watch things like, Law and Order SVU, I still remember the first season. I was like, this is god awful, but at least it won't last any more than one season. Who the hell wants to watch a show about sex crime? Apparently a lot. I think they're up to like season 28 or something at this point in time. But that's the thing. You're in a pretty normal, safe environment, but every night you come home and watch about sex crimes, you're going to be really worried about things, right? And there's this interesting thing where the human brain doesn't necessarily do context switching in the way and to the degree that we expect it to. So it's kind of curious to be thinking about this is if you start dumping ads into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is an answer platform. So if you look at Google, at least what Google was 6 months ago, right? Google was a search engine. I am looking for websites to answer my problem. So even if you look at the ads, and even if you don't really realize it's an ad, the ad itself isn't necessarily an answer. It's one of the things that you should look at, right? Okay, I'll click on that. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Let me click on a few other things and make my decision. What becomes interesting, again, with that whole ChatGPT, the whole user interface, the whole user experience thing, is you're really going to ChatGPT to find an answer. And so there's an ad that's talking about the health benefits of shoving, olive oil up your asshole. And again, you click, like, how many people are going to take that as the answer? Will they be able to properly delineate between the two? And that's what becomes really weird. Now, that's the thing. Like, if people were just going on there to find the history of Major League Baseball or find out who the first czar of Russia is or whatever else, it's like, who was the first czar of Russia? And you get a little ad underneath for fucking Russian tea. I don't know. Fine. Again, I'm not anti-ads. But it's that, that's what I think of using AI for. Like when I use AI, the main reason I use AI is syntax. Where the fuck do you put the comma? Where do you put the comma? That's why I use AI. Or again, I'm using these Picos right now. These Picos use something called MicroPython. Making MicroPython work on a Pico is its own little disaster story. Anyways, how do I get MicroPython to work with a Pico? Right? That's my thing. So if I'm saying like, how do I get MicroPython to work on a Pico? And then I get a little ad underneath for the ESP, whatever the hell they're called. Again, whatever. Might be interesting, might not. That's how I think about it. But that's not how a lot of people are using it. It's not how a lot of people in the modern world are using it. They're using it for bad reasons. For not really bad reasons, just sad reasons. So anyways, I don't know. We'll see how this disaster goes. How do you think this disaster is going to go? Is this disaster going to go badly? I think this disaster is going to go badly. So the platform that we were told was going to cure disease and solve science is now going to be selling cost per click ads to psychologically vulnerable users. Yeah, this feels like the downfall of the technology revolution I've come to expect over the past decade and a half. I'm old enough to remember, to be clear, when I got into Facebook, I want this to be crystal clear. The first few years I was on Facebook, I used Facebook to share pictures of corgi butts. Oh my God, I had all these friends around the world and we all shared pictures of corgi butts. Like the Hong Kong, I didn't know corgis were such a thing in Hong Kong. I knew so many people in Hong Kong. We were all sharing corgi butt pictures. Like that's when I got onto Facebook. It was like, wow, this is amazing for sharing corgi butts. Again, when I became famous or whatever on YouTube, it was for tech education. It's for showing you how to use Linux and how TCP/IP works and the OSI model. That's what social media was. I remember those days. That is not what social media is anymore. And so what do you think is going to happen with like the social mediaification of AI, where we thought this technology was going to cure disease, and instead we just got more of the social media world. 2026. 2026, my friends. Anyways, put your thoughts down below. If you like these episodes and you want them on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever else, there are links in the doobly-doo. And with that, see y'all later.